Zoe here. I'm back today with the final bit of my Maggie Holmes crepe paper gather collection. Yay! I'm finally done, and this is a sort of scrap your scraps layout, and I'm going to do giant letters and also some fringing. So as if by magic, I have my lettering on my 12 by 12 piece of paper there, and I'm just going to cut them out by hand because I don't have a Silhouette Cameo 3, so I'm doing it all by hand. However, if you're listening, Alex, that doesn't mean that I don't need a Silhouette Cameo 3 for Christmas. Just so you know, FYI. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut out the one letter by hand so you can see how easy it is. I mean, honestly, you just need a sharp craft knife and a steady hand. It's really, really easy. It took me maybe 10 minutes to cut the whole thing out, but I've edited it out because I'm mindful of trying to keep my videos just that little bit shorter, because they've been pretty epically long lately, haven't they? Anyway, the eagle-eyed amongst you will see that I cut this out of untextured cardstock, and then I actually changed my mind and I cut it out again from a wood grain cardstock. And I'm just showing you there that I use my rubber just to rub out my pencil lines, and I have kept the insides of my letters just so that I can stick them back on later. So I'm cutting down another 12 by 12 piece here to use as my background, and I'm going to use my cutout letter sheet as a template and just quickly sketchily draw my letter shapes out onto the page so that I can use this for my scraps. So as you can see, I don't have very much of this collection left at all. I've really, really loved it. I've had a lot of fun and I've made quite a lot of bits with it. And oh, ta-da! That's all my fringing. Yeah, that is a lot. I went a little crazy because I generally sit on the sofa watching TV or YouTube videos or whatever, and I just snip away as I'm watching, and I got a little bit crazy. But the ones that I don't use in this layout are actually going to go, and I'm going to make some embellishments with them at some point. Again, probably just something I do whilst watching TV, so they won't go to waste. I'm just I'm just looking through and finding the fringy bits that I think look nice, and just using some tape to adhere them to the letters. This will be underneath the letters I originally cut out, so the fringing will show behind the textured cardstock. I think I opted for a wood grain cardstock in the end. It was really pretty, so I'm just going to show you on the first letter or so, and I think I'm going to edit out the rest because it's quite time consuming. I think the whole thing took maybe 20 minutes to put all the fringing in, so it's not the quickest. But it's a really, really pretty look, and fringing is so much of a thing at the moment. I had no idea when I started manically fringing everything that it was going to be a trend, and also giant letters are a bit of a trend at the moment too, so I'm getting in there with both of them in one layout, and why not? I love to add little strips of fringed vellum. I think it looks really, really pretty. You just have to be mindful of what's going to show underneath, of course. But I don't mind, I think it looks ever so pretty. So I think I'm going to edit this out, and it should be, ta-da! There you go. It's almost done. You can see I just have a little bit that I'd like to add a little extra fringing into. It's such a fun technique. I heartily recommend using up your scraps by fringing them. You can create so many different layouts using Fringing. If you follow me over on Instagram, which is Zoe Guest Art on Instagram, I've posted up a few of my layouts. I haven't done process videos for them all, but I have done quite a few layouts recently with different fringing, and all of them look completely different. So it's a really fun technique for using up the ends of your 6x6 pads, or those little scraps of 12x12 that you haven't found the use for. You can see I'm just doing a bit of a patch job here because I apparently didn't place my my fringing in the right places. Faffing with it as usual. It wouldn't be me if I didn't faff with my layout, would it? I love the look of the giant letters. I think it's incredibly striking to have such a giant title. I haven't tried the big letters before. It's my first time. I'm a big letter virgin. Well, not anymore anyway. But it's really fun. So maybe this will be my next thing. I end up with a million layouts with giant letters. So that, you can see, is now all finished. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere my stencil, I guess, down, and I'm going to break my ATG. Wait for it. There we go. Look at that. I told you I was having trouble with this ATG. It's, when it works, it is amazing, and when it doesn't, it is the worst thing you've ever spent money on. Dang thing. Anyway, I'm going back to my fail-safe of double-sided tape, and I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down. I'm not putting tape around the letters themselves. It doesn't need it, in my opinion, and plus I'm going to ruffle up the fringing later, so if there's a bit of movement in the letters, so much the better, in my opinion. So I'm just going ahead and laying that down across the fringing to make sure that I like the placement of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim the excess, and I apologise for the little wobbly camera action there. I'm not entirely sure why that's wobbly. I'm using my embossing buddy here just to take the stick off the double-sided tape on the back. I clearly went a little bit too ham with my tape there. I'm struggling with my scissors and decided to use my trimmer, because why not? So yeah, I've really loved this collection. I think I have a bunch of layouts, way too many. I can't remember if I've said in the last video. I feel like I might have done, but just in case, I'm going to repeat it in this one. Feel free to leave a comment if you'd like to see all the layouts I've created with this one. I haven't done videos for them all, so I'd be more than happy to do a little flick through of everything I've done. If you'd like to see that. So as you can see, I'm just adding in my inner portions of the letters, the negative space, I guess, just to make them a little more stand out. Something like that. I'm just gluing it down with a little glossy accents. For no particular reason, actually, the glossy accents, it's just the glue that I have to hand, so I tend to use it quite regularly, just because it's the closest one on my desk, and it's very good glue, to be fair. So I'm going to bring in my photo again here, and I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. It's 6x4, or just under 6x4, selfie sized. At the moment I'm just going to take a couple of centimetres off the off one side there, just to make his face more focally central. I'm backing it onto basil vellum. Is it basil or basil? Do you know? I don't know. I feel like it might be basil, but I want to say basil, so it's basil until I'm corrected, I think. And double 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 layering my vellum. That was a mouthful to say. Goodness me. So, whilst I'm voiceovering this one, I'm watching this, and actually what I'm working on at the moment is the Snow and Cocoa collection. Oh, I'm finally moved on to that, and I love it. I cannot wait to show you what I'm doing with it. It's something a little bit different, and I'm hoping to have something up with that in the next week or so. Hopefully. I can't wait. I hope you like what I've decided to do with it. Anyway, I'm just picking some more of the scraps. Again, I'm using, as you know, I like to use the branding strips, so I'm just using those. I'm not adding very many layers behind this photo, purely because the lettering is so striking that I don't want to distract from it with my photo. Now, although the photo is the focal point of a layout, of course, I feel like it would make it too busy and it would make the photo almost distracting, which I don't want to do. I want the photo to be what you want to look at. So I'm being mindful not to add too much behind my photo, to keep it a nice visual for your eye to rest on. Didn't that sound arty? That's very pretentious of me. I'm just faffing around with the scraps, and I decided not to use any more of the patterned paper and to just go with a very faint grid pattern. I think this paper is from Studio Calico. It's just a very, very faint grid, which will look nice, but also giving it a white border will lift it above and beyond the letters of the title. Just again to lift it visually away from such a big title behind it, if that makes sense. It does to me anyway. Excuse me, I'm just backing it onto some foam. I know the foam is red. I really don't mind using any other colour. It's not going to show, and it's super cheap, so I don't care. I'll go in there with red. It's fine. I'm just popping one of my myriad of doilies in there. Oh my gosh, yes! I've been sending these out to people, so I don't have quite as many anymore. I've sent, I think, maybe 3 packets in the UK so far, and 1 to Australia, which was fun. So yeah, it's been nice to send those out with a little note in them. It's nice to send some to Australia. It was nice to send something so far-flung. Anyway, I'm just again popping the doily on there just because it lifts it away from the letters visually. And here's where I start to faff. I have, just a few bits of the ephemera and the stickers and the chipboard pieces, and I start to mess around with it. This is one of the leaves I hand cut. I will try to remember to link the video below where I hand cut them. But yeah, I start to faff, and I know I want to use this leaf, but I can't make it work. I don't know where to make it sit. Do you ever have that where it's almost like what my lovely son would term a brain fart, where your brain just goes, ugh, and you can't make it work for you. Well, that's what I'm doing right now. It's tricky when your brain doesn't want to work for you. So I think, well, I'll go to the stickers, maybe something there, and I'm looking at them, and I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what I want to do with this negative space. Maybe the chipboard will give me some help, but no. Maybe I want to use the word cute from the chipboard. maybe so it says this cute boy, and I put it on, and no, I don't like that at all. It doesn't look very nice. It's not visually appealing to me. Faffing. Maybe if I move it, but nope, I really do not like that. So I go to my failsafe. If in doubt, I always, without fail, choose to outline my whole design. I'm still faffing with the chipboard right now. Clearly I am slower at this than I thought I was going to be. But in any case, it still counts. If in doubt, I always choose to do a sketchy outline around my whole piece. It grounds the piece for me, but also it's mindless. And as I'm drawing or sketching the lines in, it seems to reset my thought process a little bit. So inevitably, if I am struggling with the positioning of embellishments or title or anything like that, I will generally, almost 100% of the time, choose to outline the whole piece. You can see I'm just doing it quite messily, which is my usual style. And it's a little messier even than I would usually do, just because it's quite a heavily embossed wood grain pattern, so it's a little trickier to outline on than usual. But I don't mind that in the slightest. I like it to look all sketchy and a little bit messy and rough. And as I say, I generally do this with a good portion of my layouts, and particularly my project life. So it does add a nice feel when you're looking through the albums. It adds a nice linear feel throughout the layouts and the pocket pages, so that's another reason why I do it. But yeah, it definitely just sort of resets my thought process a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier for me to visualise the whole design, I suppose. Sometimes when I'm struggling with embellishments, it's because I can't see the picture, I can't see the woods for the trees, I suppose. And especially with this one, because my title was so visually striking, I was really struggling with how to embellish it. But then you'll see, once I've got that outline in there, my brain just goes, yep, and I stop faffing and start laying stuff down and committing to it. And I decide to go with that leaf that I hand cut, excuse me, down the side of the photo there, and have journaling right next to it. And as I've said before, I know my handwriting looks a little bit like somebody dipped a spider in ink, but I'm okay with that. My children aren't going to look through and go, oh, I wish my mum had nicer handwriting. If anything, they're going to like the fact that it was my handwriting and it's a piece of me. And if they don't, I will darn well tell them that that's what they should think. It's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So I love that beautiful sort of floral camera there, and I struggle with whether I want it in the photo, but I definitely do want it down in that bottom right hand corner, along with a little XOXOXO sticker and the beautiful peachy coloured leaf. I just pop in the side of the photo as well, taking up that chipboard and committing to that lovely big leaf in the wood grain. I'm just sticking it down with my glossy accents again. And I wonder, oh no, sorry, I do pop some foam tape, just a double layer of foam tape under the other side of that leaf, just to give it a little stability, because there's foam tape under my photo. Just messing up the leaves a little bit there and trimming it down. And I wonder what I'm going to do with the chipboard. I think I want to put it back on the photo, and I don't, so I pop it up in the upper left corner, which adds a diagonal cluster then. So I've got the upper left, it goes diagonal across the photo and down into that bottom right, so it looks quite linear across the photo there. I don't think I embellish it too much more. I love those little crosses, but they don't work for this layout, so they've actually gone into my stash now. I pop a tiny word sticker on there, do I? Yes, of course I do. Of course I do. I do love the tiny word stickers. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to pop on there, and I don't know, do I? Oh yes I do. I'd forgotten I put that one up there. But again, you can see when I'm placing, I am placing it again in that diagonal, keeping quite true to that, that line. And because I like to do things in threes, I thought maybe should I put a third one on, but I don't in the end. I think I'm going to break out the Heidi Shine. Yes I am. And that is about it actually. I put a few drops of Heidi Shine and that is it for this one. So it's not overly embellished and I haven't done very much to it other than the title. But I really like how this one came out. Yeah, I really do enjoy it. I think I might try a big title again on something else. I'm just messing up some of my fringing there to make it pop, as it were. And that's about it. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you will stick around to see what I do with the Snow and Cocoa collection over the next week or so. And also I think maybe a couple of hundred away from 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've got a really big giveaway planned for when I hit 1,000 subscribers, so stay tuned for that too. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.